right now as well. So you'll see a note about that. All right. Well, thank you for joining today's Wide Format Wednesday webinar. We're excited to spend some time talking about our new Pro 30F Plus, the flatbed printer. It's an exciting new update in addition to the portfolio, and we want to spend some time walking through that product. So everybody that's on, your cameras and microphone will remain off. We see you, and but we do want to hear from you. So if you have a question or the like along the way, please use the chat box, put it in, and just send it to the host and presenter. We're going to look at that. If we don't get to it right away, we'll try to get to it at the end of the session, or we'll get to it separately and get you an answer as needed. So we appreciate this. We do want to make it interactive. We do have just the EFI team here today to go through the product, and I'll introduce that here right now. So with that, speaking today, you have as our host, Tomer Oave, who's the Senior Director of Product Management at EFI. Thanks, Tomer. And also from the New Hampshire Customer Experience Center, we've got Melissa Baker, who's our application specialist that's been focused on our wide format line and has done a great job with current customers and some of our virtual demos and the like. And we're going to spend a lot of time walking through the product. So the agenda today is we're going to go through a overview of the product, of the entire wide format portfolio. We want to make sure we cover all of those, but really spend a lot of time on the Pro 30F flatbed printer, as well as a live demonstration. And then we're going to spend a lot of time talking about the applications. What's really, really cool about this particular printer is there's a lot of different applications, and customers get extremely creative with those. We've got a lot of samples and examples up there that we're going to actually walk through as well. And then any live Q&A, so any questions that come in. So again, use your chat feature. We're happy to have you take any questions from you as well. Again, my name, I forgot to say, I'm Dan Cernards. If I haven't met you, I work with our customers and partners around the world, so happy to get this started, and I'll take any of those questions back to the team. So with that, let me go to the next slide and turn this over to Tomer.
Thank you so much, Dan, and thank you for the audience joining us. Melissa and I are very excited today. This is, I think, our 4th webinar on the wide format series. So if you haven't attended, you can always watch the recording, and we're a few more to come. I want to dive into the 30F Plus, but start with the umbrella review of where is the wide format at the EFI portfolio. And then we'll talk about the portfolio itself and then go to the 30F specifically. So EFI, right, an inkjet solutions provider across the globe with such over 30 different platforms and gears, starting from the entry level to the mid-range, super high speed, and single pass. Probably in our portfolio, you can find yourself within probably each one of those, which can meet your business needs, your volume, your application. The wide format specifically, and I'm the product manager of this specific product line, was always like, very unique and very excited because you can find yourself within a dedicated flatbed, to a hybrid machines, to a roll-to-roll, and 24 was a year to remember. We actually refreshed our entire portfolio based on many feedbacks we got from the field, from the dealers, from you guys telling us what you need. Dan mentioned a lot about applications because it's more about then speed and quality that we're going to talk about and made the improvement, but what are the different applications can we gain? How can we really increase uptime? And Melissa and I are going to talk about the operation, achievements we've done. So 30F, the new kit in our portfolio. So let's talk about the specs. Definitely, we're going to show some live printing and application. So 30F Plus, we basically took the 30F and thought what we can achieve more, how we can improve and get to a wider range of application. The first thing, we decided to go with the Ricoh Gen 6 technology. The idea behind that is to enable us running in a faster throughput, re-engineering, the carriage with the electronics to enable us to run multi-layer printing. So Ricoh Gen 6 is part of this technology with a 5 picoliter native droplet that also enable us to achieve wider color gamut and better ink yield. I'll talk about the numbers, but this is part of a kind of an ecosystem the driving with that print head. We are utilizing our LED technology, which was always, the best proven technology in the market because print's getting out dry, ready to go. Next step for routing, cutting, finishing. And one of the latest achievement and additions, which I'm in love, is the clear ink. Clear ink is available that can be printed on top of colors and white in color, of course. And every day we see customers, they're coming kind of a new design, new application. So we're still, finding so much room and new application with the clear ink, and you're gonna see it live. Definitely continuing with our partner Fiery as our core driven RIP built in, and Melissa are going to walk you through. But the idea, when it's built in, you have everything centralized. Operator doesn't have to go from another areas around the floor place, and really utilize everything as a one-stop shop. And last but definitely not least is our ink. The Pro Graphic Plus ink has been tremendous. It's the new ink that goes across the wide format portfolio. And what we wanted to achieve is, of course, to enable us, run faster in a higher quality and much better DPI. But I think the secret sauce here is actually the open time and the runtime you can achieve with the new inks. I can tell you that Melissa and I came this morning, before the webinar. What you usually do, we clean the heads, we wipe maybe once, and then we can run through the whole shift. No downtime, no further purging and cleaning. And this is what we hear from the market, what's we hear from the customers. If you go to another print or do you have your lunch break, you want to come, you want to push the button, and you want to print. And I think the open time and is a remarkable step ahead with our ink technology. So this is kind of a nutshell about what we've done so far with the specs. Let's talk about speed. Again, enabling the Ricoh Generation 6 with the new electronics, and definitely, some hardware design and the motor allow us to increase speed by 20%, actually 21%, and on average. I don't want to take 1% from engineering. And when we look up on the wider spec, we also added some new print modes, like the outdoor print mode. That was also a feedback from customers, moving from the outdoor to express, from distance to POP, was something in the middle that they wanted to achieve for some applications, some file that can be generated on the outdoor print mode. So you have the numbers in front of you, but if you look on the POP and the production that runs in between 500 to 600 square feet an hour, that's definitely the go-to print modes, and then high quality and distance and express, for different applications. We're going to work them through. That's about productivity. Now, I think the most interesting part, let's walk through the printer. And one maybe the most important thing that Dan mentioned at the beginning, we want this to be interactive. So please, anything you have in mind, just tap it, on the chat. I want to get those feedbacks. We want to answer. We're here for you in the next hour. And I maybe did not mention, and we're in our Londonderry, New Hampshire headquarters, which is our customers experience center. We also have another global customer experience center that serves our European customers in Italy. And this is also an exercise that anyone that wanna have a remote on-site demo, come over, visit us. Beside the beautiful landscape, there's probably more around 10 printers around us with any one of the technology. It's exciting playground, so you're always invited. Printer time, right? All right, Melissa, thank you so much. I think we want to go over to you, talk about the printer a little bit, and maybe show us, a little bit about the workflow and technology.
Yeah,
here.
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing I wanted to have set up is the thing I'm most excited about. We have a jig to print directly onto hockey pucks. So let me get that print started. And then this print actually takes a little bit if you wanted to talk about textured printing over there.
Correct.
Just for one.
Yeah. As you can see, the 30F Plus is a 5x10 bed, and I'm going to show you a little bit of the application right over here. It's a 5x10 bed with, as I mentioned, the print carriage. We have CMYK, white, and I mentioned clear ink. Clear ink can be added also in the factory, so you have to choose white or clear ink. Behind me, different number of applications. I'm going to walk you through, and we'll get back to the application side. All right. Back to the printer. What you can see again is the carriage running, printing the hockey pucks. The idea behind that is, you can run any jig or any application you might want to have in mind, right? But this is just one of the example, starting with those, small type of applications. Let me go to the other camera. I think it might be more visible, right? So you can definitely, print on small pucks, design your own jigs, and make them, customized, right? Each one can come with a different file, right? That's the beauty behind digital printing, isn't it? Right? Awesome. I have another example of a jig printing, printing on pans, right? If you have any company's logo you want to print, definitely you can create your own jigs. So we started with the jigs just to go from, bottom up, and then we'll definitely do some, wider DG application, but it's something that always exciting for us to show. All right, back to Melissa. So what are we running now?
There we go. So I have a wooden board here, which shows up really well with a nice painting of a cabin. And if I could have the camera pulled in just a little bit more. So one of the upgrades with the Plus is that we actually have another 2 registration pins in the corner. Before we only had the ones that were on the 12 and 7, but having these 2 in the corner makes it a lot easier to line up the media that you're printing on. So I'm going to put the pins back down, which the carriage will not move if it registers that the pins are up, which is a great safety feature for me specifically because I do often forget to put it back down. So I'm going to hit print. And one of the first things that comes up is it's going to ask me if I want to set the height of the carriage. And I'm going to hit yes. So the carriage is going to raise to its 4 full-inch height and come over just to make sure that if you do have a jig on there, it's not going to crash into it. And it's
what is the maximum height that we can print on?
4 inches.
4 inches.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So imagine, guys, 4 inches, about 10 centimeters, right, or so, that can be printed. So awesome.
And the bed can hold a maximum of 400 pounds. So you only need 1 person to print, but probably more people to load the media on.
Okay. All right, so we do the measure media.
So
and maybe while it's running, can you share with us the different vacuum zones when you run a partial part of the media? Can we control the vacuum zones as well, correct?
yeah, for sure. So that is down here. So these vacuum zones don't have to be fully on or fully off. You are able to just turn them by hand. So it can be fully on, or you can adjust it so it's partial. It does also have a map here to tell you which vacuum zones are where, along with the measurements for each. And if you want to adjust it even more from there, we usually keep it on 8.5. But it is very adjustable. There you go. Thank you. And that print is coming along very nicely.
Yeah. What print mode are we running now?
This is in POP.
All right, POP. So for the audience, POP is 54 square meters an hour, which is 581 square feet an hour. We'll get right out the table soon. So we mentioned 4 inches thick. You can deviate your vacuum zones to the size, and definitely you can run multiple sheets with multiple files, and we're going to talk about that as well. Beautiful. As I mentioned, 2 LED lamps, 1 on each side, so you can see, the trailer and back one.
And the lamps are instant on, instant off. So it only is turned on over the part that you are printing.
Alrighty. Let's see, what do we got? Oh,
Here we go.
let's turn off the vacuum first.
Yes.
See, if you can tell, I'm not an operator, huh?
You're doing fine.
All right. Vacuum off.
The vacuum is very strong.
You see, it's very strong. Alrighty.
Tomorrow, plenty strong too.
I got it.
Very nice. And
Beautiful. So instant cure, beautiful imagery. This is 4 colors only. And what keep amazing me is the color gamut and the density you can achieve. Right? The technology moves forward, with the new heads and new ink, you can really get a very, beautiful, vibrant colors in a very productive environment.
Mhm.
Yeah. Awesome. I hope you guys can impress as I do.
It might be a little hard to pick up the grain, but
Yeah.
it is very nice.
All right. Let's talk a little bit more about the printer, right? We thought about the vacuum zones. I want to maybe go and show the guys a little bit about the head carriage and talk how does it look like, how it's being proposed.
So our carriage does have the clear, which we keep over on the right. We do have the 2 white heads over on the left. The clear is optional, so you can have 4 white heads. And then, as discussed, it is the Ricoh Gen 6 printer heads for 2 of each color. And then we have the crash bars on the left and the right. The LEDs are tucked underneath, along with the ionizing bar to help reduce static and to pick up small pieces of debris that might be on some corrugated plastic that you're printing on. And we do also have the secondary tanks in there. So if you need to switch out an ink bottle while you're printing, there will be enough ink left in there in order to not have to stop your print or even pause it. You can just keep going and switch out that bottle, no problem. And let me get the next print started.
All right, let's get the next print started. While Melissa gonna run, another board and show you some very cool applications. I'm gonna want to talk about some other applications that we can achieve right over here. Okay, we're talking about multi-layer printing, and I want to start with white ink. Our white ink is so opaque, but also with only file manipulation, you can achieve this beautiful imagery. So this is white only on a black background. You can definitely see the dark gray, light gray, shade of white getting to a very opaque white. And only with by design and white ink, you can achieve this beautiful imagery. Another example is printing on different type of corrugated, right? This is kind of a thick corrugated, for any kind of type of, stands and trade shows that you can print on. So you can definitely run this type of media with the great vacuum zone. But what more interesting also, if you want to do a very light production corrugated for any POP stands or even packaging that becomes definitely more and more interesting, you can use the printer, but also the nice about a very popular, again, holding those and making those cuts over a cutting machine. The ink is semi-flexible, so it will not crack, it will not chip. And this is something that we're always looking for. We make a lot of improvements, but we definitely want to make sure that it's going to be sustaining your productivity over multiple boards and multiple runs. So, we're a different application that you can think about and go through. All of them on kind of a light corrugated, white back corrugated. All right. What else do we got? Definitely double side printing, right? Maybe just, before that, yeah. Yeah, clear ink. So clear ink can be printed as a flood or selective, just by design. I hope you can grab it from the camera, but if you look on the candies or bubbles, right, only those are actually being coated. And again, you can define which part you're gonna coat or which one, you don't. That's another exciting. Printing on die bond, very, very popular media. Great adhesion, no scratching, no finger footprints, everything is very, very, well maintained. I'm not sure how many what was the speed word? Probably it's a quality, quality production level.
That one was also POP with a clear flood on top.
Okay, wow. All right. So many beautiful imagery. I want to talk about white ink. White can print it as a first layer, but also as a white over. So this is the acrylic, right? So the ink is on the other side. You can print color and white on top. It definitely give you the capability of having kind of a smooth gradient of white beneath. So white over, white under. We can definitely do multi-layer like white as a sandwich as well.
And an example of our spot clear.
Okay. Okay, that was fast. So another example fresh out of the oven, spot clear, white color and spot clear, running on the black media. And I think the more we go towards using clear, we see very, as you can see, this is the clear ink enhancement. And maybe the last thing, just really go through, the thickness material type for a cornhole design, right? Like this is about 3.5 inch. So you can print up to 4 inch, right? So this also was printed on this 30F. Beautiful, right? Any images, you can run probably 4 at one run with different images. Impressive, huh? Then if there's any questions in between, we're gonna go back to Melissa. And I'll talk more about specialty applications, but I want you guys to see the printer running a little bit more.
Yeah, we'll get those questions out to you as well. So you mentioned one of them is the clear. Is it, you said protective and decorative, or is it both?
Then I'm sorry, I think I lost you for a second. If you can just repeat.
Yeah, just explain the clear ink. Is it protective clear ink?
Oh, this clear ink version is not protective clear ink. It's very much similar to our previous generation of the white format, right? We do have the protective clear ink that our audience are familiar with, the roll-to-roll and mid-range hybrids. And again, we're always looking to, I would say, accommodate and bring those multi-purpose clear ink to the white format. But this is currently an enhancement, I would say embellishment clear ink. But again, I can say that definitely having a third layer can benefit from kind of a light, I would say, rub resistance or protection, but it's not as our protective clear ink. Make sense?
Yep. All right. Another question is, does the clear ink stack at all, or can you use it for a raised effect? Can you use the clear ink to stack and make it as a raised effect?
Okay.
Yes, you can. We usually print it at under 100%. We usually keep it at like 55 or 60%, but I have done multiple layers of clear ink and it's sat beautifully.
Great, thanks. And then
Back to the printer for a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
One more question is, printing on plexiglass, do you need an ink adhesion applied first?
No, we don't need any ink adhesion promoter. We don't actually also supply that. But there's one thing, if it's a generic plexiglass, we can support it. We know some from some customers are coated with different type of coating or coming from the manufacturing with kind of a linear layer. So I would suggest if there's any specific media, utilize our demo center. That's the best thing. But we do have a recommended media list with some vendors we're already being, experienced. So you can go to our list, check if it's there. If it's not, I would just send a sample to our customer demo center. But again, from everything you've seen so far, and we're going through a very intensive, internal evaluation, nothing needed a primer on a promoter.
Perfect. And then I got a question asked twice, so I'm going to ask it again. The cornhole boards, do you print clear on top of that? So the clear coat on top of that? So when you showed that application, that's just a normal application that you printed on, and you could put clear on top of that as well. Is that true?
Right. You could put clear on anything you're gonna choose. This cornhole was printed with 4 colors only. If you choose to print color and clear, you can do that. It's gonna be half of the speed on the print mode you're choosing, but yeah, basically, definitely doable.
That's great. And then one more, bleed printing. Talk about the bleed printing. Full bleed or like how do you bleed printing?
Then I'll have to ask you to repeat the question again. I'm sorry.
So it's listed. Can you do bleed printing? Is the question. Can you do bleed printing? I'm gonna have the.
Yes, you can do bleed printing. You can do edge to edge. I'm
Edge to edge.
having it cut in a little bit closer on the media, just so I don't get any on the print bed for now.
So full bleed. Great. I got some more coming, but I'll let you guys go, and then we'll gather them up for the next.
Yes. All right. Let's get the next one out of the printer, and we'll talk more about printing on granite or in some wooden application. I want to show you something very exciting around here. All right. So what you can see now, it's white under and color. Right, printing on
Yep.
the print mode, right?
Color on white.
Color on white.
There we go. So even if you're working with a darker media, if you put a white flood behind it, you can still get very vibrant colors.
It looks great, and really urge you guys that know the 30F before or new to EFI, come and see and check out the quality and speed. And again, what keeps me amazed is the open time and the fact that we can, run, through the whole shift with 1 or 2 purging. I was talking about speed improvement, 20%, 21%. We can definitely also see some improvement on the ink yield. We can also, if I take an average, I would say up to 20% of ink saving. But also, to be honest, it's really file dependent. Some files with more solid areas would expect about maybe 10% of ink saving for the 30F plus, and some other files might get up to 20%. So I would say, again, the whole idea behind it is give you the capabilities to come and look or remotely have some demos and samples and really see the numbers behind the ink, the better ink utilization, the better speed, the uptime, which is probably, again, your operator is going to fall in love with that.
Some media I've actually had a lot of fun printing on lately.
All right, so yeah, so granite, oh, that's heavy, right? But that's heavy, but cool. It means also we can print on heavy materials, right? Some certification on white, you can do definitely with clear or without clear. And this is something, we made for my Valentine's Day, my mama. Just, kind of printing on a very nice textured, kind of a stone granite with white. It's amazing. So again, you can run from, hockey pucks, pans, granite, foam board, corrugated, up to 4 inches. So anything that you can imagine, and your customer would just give you a call. I know that one of our customers in one of our demos just said this is kind of the white format is kind of a yes machine. You get a call, can you do that? If you outsource, now you can say, yes, I can do that for you in-house. You control the time, you can do the turnaround, you know how much it's going to cost you. Definitely you're going to get better margins when you do the in-house than the outsourcing. And then I'm very excited about, these new applications.
One of the nicer things too about working with heavier media is that when you have it on the bed, get the vacuum turned on, you can actually press this button down here, which is next to the pin registration, to float the media, which is very helpful if you're moving something heavy. And then when you're done, turn that back off and sets it right back down.
That's exciting. I think, yeah. So again, a lot of thoughts were put into the design. Also, from having the operator pedal, right? Very close by. The ink on the rear side are very accessible. From service perspective, everything is very in the front surface. Electronics, pneumatics, anything that might need service is really very accessible. Any other questions so far? Let's see.
Yeah, well, there's a couple actually around service, if we can stick with that, so it's topical. So one is do the print heads, talk about the cleaning and purging of the print heads, like how often, what do you need to do to kind of keep it clean? And then also from a service perspective, just the overall, what does it take, and what's the experience been in the field?
You take the first one, I'll do the second one.
Okay, sure. So in the morning when I come in, I lift up the carriage. I put on a glove and I use a lint-free cloth to purge and wipe the printer heads. And unless I goof up and crash, that's usually the only time I have to do it during a day.
Yeah. So probably one purge a day. If it's after the weekend, same. You would say, if you just put.
Yeah, I'll do a warm-up print, and then if I'm not happy with it, I'll do another purge and wipe, and that's as far as it really needs to go.
Okay, awesome. As for the service and maintenance, again, we have 8 CMYK heads and 4 more for white and clear. So if you do white, it's 4 heads. If you do white and clear, it's 2 heads and 2 heads. I would say from a serviceability standpoint, there's an ongoing, sometimes monthly or quarterly maintenance. Most of them are about cleaning the LED lamps from any excess of ink that might go through. So you clean the heads, changing filters once every quarter. It really depends on how much you use. But I would say, if you spend maintaining the printer on the ongoing, then the monthly or yearly definitely is a matter of minutes or hours, and there's not too much to put into. And also from an investment standpoint, filters and some consumables.
Well, and Tomer, with that, the question came in a lot. What you're mentioning there is all self-service. Customers can do themselves, changing the filters, doing the purging. We train them on how to do all of that in there.
Yeah,
service text.
Correct. We have
service
tutorials.
Yep.
We have the manuals. We try to design everything that an operator can do. That the high level, sophisticated, or maybe anything that needs to be addressed by service engineers or our dealers community, going to be handled by them directly.
And just like the 16H Plus, the filters and everything are accessible without a special tool. You can just go in there and adjust it by hand and replace what you need to.
Yeah, that was one of the key design factors, I think, in the product, right? To make it self-service, easily done by, don't have to be extensively trained on the maintenance of it. We do have a network of service partners, direct service team, as well as partners around the country that can handle, and a lot of variety of service options, depending on what you're looking for from the business side. But really, we've designed this to be as easily maintained and self-service as possible for the customers.
We want you to be able to print. If you have to ask us questions or for help with the harder stuff, that's great. But with the day-to-day stuff, you just want to be able to print and go. So
exactly.
That's how we try to design it.
That's the goal.
Another
question was about
question on can we print on fabric?
On fabrics.
Fabric. Can we print?
I don't think we have experience printing on fabrics. We don't have a roll-to-roll capabilities. If maybe there's a jig or a patch, so we don't have an experience on that. It wasn't designed to that. Probably we can in a way, but I don't see it as a fabric dedicated. But so if you have, let's say, a flag or something, we can give it a try. But I think with vacuum zones, probably something to be more cautious of.
Maybe
Well, that's,
possible, not
I think,
advertised.
yeah. Well, we tell our customers, right, we don't have a defined list of media because we can print on just about anything. And when in doubt, we test it out, right? So there's ways to actually, if it's something that's an application you're working on and working with us or one of the EFI partners, we're happy to kind of test those applications and make sure they work for you because it does handle a variety of work. And that goes, for all that. So that's it for the
I wanted
questions
to
for now.
address one more point that came up on the previous questions about our experience from the field. Printer was launched late 2024. We showed it at Printing United, October 24, and then we did do a gradual introduction into the market. Definitely first in the Americas and also in EMEA. As for now, we have more than a couple of dozen installations globally, and we have very good feedback. We have direct feedback from some direct customers and also from our channel partners that already have some printers running. One of our customers that we spoke before this webinar was running a 30F Plus as part of the early adopter for the last 8 months. So we have an extensive knowledge and background, very positive. And the same thing, you got, same feedback and many about, the uptime, the really easy accessibility to everything and all of the different media. A small print shop that does probably everything from, from every type of material. So we have over 8 months of experience in the field, different profile of customers and from different regions around the globe.
Great. There's another question about how do we set up a showroom tour in Londonderry?
How we set up a tour in Londonderry? Yeah, you just give us a call. Basically, we work with our sales organization. You can reach out to your sales representative. You're going to have my email on the end of the webinar. You can reach out to me. I'm going to direct you. But it's a very accessible area. You can come and, of course, with the support of our sales organization to give you the whole background. But we're open. Have you seen maybe at the background? We have all of the gears around here. So you can start with a dedicated flatbed sometime. We can show you the 16-inch, and then you can go to the higher level. And really, the idea is to have a full discovery at one place, and then you can find yourself within which range you're going to choose.
If you have anything that you want us to try printing on, you can send it to us a little ahead of time to make sure we can have it prepared to you, along as any files that you would like us to try to print on that or anything else.
Yeah. And do you guys want to go over a quick demo of the double-sided? I think that's a pretty neat feature. I don't know if we've seen that yet, where we show the double-sided with a pin registration.
Yeah, we can do that. In the meantime, I'm going to grab one sample. Actually, I skipped double-side printing, and then we see we can set it up. Yeah. Yeah, here we go. I knew I almost forgot something. So Melissa going to print the same. You have the same file, probably maybe a different file to show you a double-side printing. This is a burger menu, or again, any signage with a double-sided registration. You can, I don't know what you can see, but the double-sided, the pin registration is perfectly aligned with side A and side B. So this is an example of how you can run double-side printing. We can definitely going to do that live. Just in a second. Another cool application I would like to show that often is ceiling panels. Right, ceiling panels. You can print. You can design your office. Any area that has ceiling panels with any imagery you want to have. Right, exciting. And there's not always very flat, right? So we can definitely utilize our great vacuum zone to make sure that they're going to be adhering well as well. We mentioned about, again, wooden-based application, skateboards. that can be printed, personalized. You know, everything sometimes goes online. Just wanna say yes, right? Can you print this? Yeah, I get this for you, right? Skateboard. Who would imagine personalized, you know, skateboards, boards? And I think I'm not trying to mention, you know, debond. You know, different materials of debond. You can play around with the different texture and use the background of the debond, right, on the gray areas, and with white ink and color, right? That's amazing. We don't do double side printing. All right, let's do that.
So I have the carriage coming over once again to measure the height of the media. There we go. And you can see on here too, you do have a visual of the entire flatbed. After this finishes printing, I can show you how to adjust it to the left. But you can see here, it does show the full ink usage for the job and also breaks it down color by color, along with an estimated amount of time. You are also able to select multiple jobs in order to realistically calculate how much you need to be charging customers for an entire job that they want.
That's a very interesting also statement about our cloud-based solutions. Some of you are familiar with the EFI IQ. The EFI IQ, again, is our cloud-based analytics that you can, you know, have kind of a merge of data going up in the cloud. You know, what have you used? What is the printing time? You know, who did what? When you need to order new ink, when you're running out of ink. And it's not only for the white format. You can plug in any other EFI platform you want to have. So definitely you can have everything on the palm of your hand. A lot of very great data coming very soon.
Okay, and then to show you to switch it to the left, all I'm going to do is press that anchor, and you can see that the numbers have reversed. So I can nice and quickly do it back and forth, and it's going to show my job over there too. So I just need to switch the side that the media is on along with the vacuum zones. And
Oh.
now we're printing on the left.
Yep. And just again for the audience record, you know, we can print up to 5 layers. You know, color, white, black, white color. You know, or different type of sequence of the file. So 5 layers is multi-layer is also available. So Dan, are there any other questions? I'm gonna bring the file. Any other questions from the audience so far?
Yeah, so one that comes up, and it's around this double-sided, is the material make it curls, right? So how does sometimes on the double-sided print, how does the vacuum help or the pins help with the material that's not as good as it used to be, right? So some curled material or the like.
I cannot overstate how strong the vacuum is.
Well,
It's very strong.
it is strong, you know. Yeah, so definitely we almost doubled, you know, double the force, not double the amount of pumps, but we doubled the amount of force. As you saw before, you know, when I didn't turn off the vacuum, it's very difficult, also impossible, to try to lift up a panel. So that's how strong it is.
Yeah, going a little bit more into the vacuum zone, even as much as Tomer was struggling to pick it up earlier, it was not at 100% either. So it can be turned up a lot higher.
So I went just for a second to bring a kind of a pin so you guys can see. So I don't know if you can see, right? So a pin from one angle, one white spot goes into the second white spot. Oh, it's noticeable. Gotcha. Awesome. I'm so happy, you guys having those very in-depth, specific questions. It's really, encouraging for us. Then anything on the chat from the audience?
Yeah, one of the questions was when you were printing on the hockey pucks, how do they stay? Were they taped down, or was that part of the vacuum? And the jig, how did that work?
I'm just going to bring the jig for you. It's the easiest part, right?
Okay.
Basically, you don't have to glue them. You don't have to place them anywhere. It's something that we have made, and I can show you around. So this is all right. So this is the jig. It's a multi-layer kind of a PVC and then 2 layers of dye bond. So it's kind of a four layers of materials on one on top of each other, and then that's it. You have the puck over here. You just place it. That's it on the side.
The jig itself is heavy enough where it's not in trouble of being lifted off the bed.
Yeah.
Yes. So the question was, do we custom make jigs? And that's what we see customers all the time, really making the jig for the work that's there. Some are standard that you can do. Is that true?
Yeah, we do not make those jigs for customers, but we can definitely have a lot of experience. Same, if you come over here, give us a phone call, we can guide you how to do those, and we have more and more examples of more jigs around here. So, yep, definitely.
We also have holes for for pins for jigs to make sure that once you get the registration right and where you want it to go, that you can just lift it off and put it back on and keep those coordinates saved.
So if you make a jig, you can actually have the pin and basically hook it in, so it's always going to be in the same spot.
That is correct. The jig that we're using now is pretty. There we go. He's got it.
All right. It's a great exercise today, guys. Thank you for asking. So, if you want to take a look on the rear side of the jig, can we? All right. You have 3 holes right over here. Right. Got it. 1 and 3, and those goes exactly to the pinholes that Melissa showed just a minute ago. So everything is you set it up one correctly, you design it, and you're good to go.
Perfect. Another couple of questions on a different topic. What's the ADA tactile braille printing? What kind of printing can you do with raised materials?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. We can print ADA braille printing, but we're not certified for that. It means that you can do multi-layer, you can have the look and feel, but in order to be qualified for ADA, that's a different certification that we do not support.
Okay. Perfect. There was a question about other webinars on other products, and direct answer is yes. We have a whole library, so we'll reach out to you on those. This is the 3rd or 4th in a series, and we've got a couple more planned coming as well. So hopefully these are helpful. I'm trying to think of other questions. I don't see any. Self-cleaning, we talked about that. Showroom, braille, portals, fabric. Any other questions that are coming up from the audience? We've got a few minutes left. Anything else that the team here? Let me see.
That's great, and maybe it seems that there's so much good content and questions. Just to wrap up, again, 30F plus available, color white, clear, 20% faster, better ink yield, any type of material you want to use. Probably we covered 80% of the market. If there's another 20 or 2% left, let us know. We will make it work. We have this beautiful customer experience center, the best application engineer around the globe. So, that can help you, to do new stuff and new designs that's our atmosphere energy to really learn and help you. So, reach out to me, reach out to our sales representative, to our dealers around the globe. And I really appreciate your time. And back to you, Dan, for the closure.
Yeah, 1 minute. Let me see. There's a question on can this printer use XA XF ink on this particular printer?
No, so we use the Pro Graphic Plus ink. The XAXF is a previous ink set for the 30F and the non-plus models. So because of the head structure, waveform, and everything, and also from the wide format, kind of a one system solution, we're supporting the Pro Graphic Plus.
Okay. And then another question is, we're getting some more in, I'll get a couple of these. Does the ink mechanically stick to the substrate or chemically bond it? And do you need a primer or coater on metal or acrylic?
Don't need a primer for metal or acrylic. My buddy off camera is shrugging. I'm not sure how to answer your first question.
I'm saying and everything we showed so far, we never use primer or coating.
Yeah.
If there is any specific material, might be a need. We moved away from primary and coatings because we made sure from the ink design perspective that we're going to adhere to, I would say, 9 out of 10 market materials. So the ink has superior adhesion with UV, great abrasion resistance. So I would say 99% were good, but we always want to have 100% certainty. So bring us your material and you will walk it through.
Okay. How about, there's a question on nesting. Can you print multiple prints at the same time? And do they have to be the same size?
For nesting, yes, we can do nesting. The images do need to be the same size unless you nest them through Fiery and then carry that over into our software. Then the images can be different sizes.
So there's a way to print different size materials at the same time with a little bit extra work on the rip. And then directly you can
are you talking about like the height of the media or
No.
like the size of the images that you're printing?
Size of the images and size of the material.
Oh, okay. All of the material would need to be the same thickness, but yeah, as I said, the different images, as long as they're nested through Fiery and then brought over, then yes.
They can be different. They have to be the same thickness, but they can have different the other dimensions, bigger, smaller, as long as that's all set up at the time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Perfect. Other questions from the, I don't see any others coming in right now. If they come in later, we appreciate it. Thank you. We've got a couple minutes left on here. We can stay open for other questions, but that'll end the main part of the session. We do appreciate the time. We will be sending out notices on our next part of the series. We've got a couple of products coming soon and a couple others that were released. So we'll continue this series in. If you've missed the previous ones, we've done them on the Pro 33R, the 16H Plus, we've the list of other products. So we've got some other in the series that we can walk back through as well. One last time for questions. Otherwise, we appreciate everybody's time today. We'll go ahead and end the webinar.
Thank you so much,
Thank
everyone. Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Dan, have a nice day.
Take care.